Hey everyone, welcome back to the CyberSec Migrant. This is the show where we unpack life, tech, growth, and the beautiful chaos. I call it chaos of navigating this industry as global citizens, as immigrants. And today, I've got a guest who goes by a name that, honestly, it puts some pressure on me as the host because he's called Noris GPT. And see, anytime someone shows up with a nickname that ends in GPT, you know you're dealing with, brains, vibes. And he's, you know what? I'm going to let him explain a bit more about his personality in a moment. I'll let him introduce who he is, what he does. And trust me, he explains it way better than I ever could. But before we dive in, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell as well so you don't miss future episodes. And if you're listening on audio, follow the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Castbox, or anywhere you get your podcasts, because your support genuinely helps the show grow, and I do appreciate every single bit of it. All right, then, let's get into today's conversation. Noris, welcome to the CyberSec Migrant podcast.
Noris GPT came about because when we were solving problems it came up at the RCMP. So at the RCMP, we'll get into my background in a bit, but yeah, basically some of the companies I was working for in the past, they were like, oh my God, how did you figure this out? How did you solve this? And this was before AI and then also continuing into the AI era. So at some point people were just calling me, the people who'd work with me were just calling me Noris GPT. They would come to me for email advice. That was a big one, actually, funny enough. Brainstorm sessions, stuff like that. Like, oh, how do I solve this? Like, there's an issue in my code or something like that. Stuff like that. So that's how Noris GPT, basically exactly what we use AI.
Yeah. So it's like a general source for everything, like a walking, talking encyclopedia. Wikipedia.
I don't know about that. What's the capital of Canada? I don't know. I'm kidding. But I try my best. Well, you know what's funny? The more I'm in our industry, the less I know, I've realized. Do you know what I mean? Like, the more I'm learning.
I know the feeling. And I think it's something, not just you, it's something that I also realize as well, because again, and I was saying this yesterday at an event, it's easy to look at someone and think they know a lot. But the truth is, the more advanced you get in this discipline, you realize that there's only so much you know about your area. And knowing a lot about a lot is really, really hard. So how do you do it that you are the GPT for all these folks? What's your secret? What's the secret sauce? How do you combine all this various knowledge sources, have them at your fingertip? Especially knowing that it's really hard for anyone to know a lot of things. It's really hard.
I think okay, that's an easy one, I think, because the thing is, I'm born in Romania. I'm from Eastern Europe, and I definitely connect more with that culture, let's say. But then, so my dad is from Timișoara, where the revolution was. So he was in the military. So obviously that's a diverse background right there. And my mom is from India, right, from Maharashtra. So she is as Indian as it comes. And then I'm born in Galați, Romania. So I'm just existing, enjoying with two parents with absolute opposite views. But not only that, like my dad, when they got married, they didn't even speak the same language. My dad was like, hey, so the wall revolution was over. My dad was like, oh, I want a woman. Well, actually, it was for spiritual purposes, actually. He was like, oh, I need the meaning of life or whatever. He goes to India, right? Great civilization where spirituality had basically risen from, meets my mom, falls in love. And then I'm a product of their union, I guess, right? I think that was a big one, just that diversity of the experiences, right? They had very different perspectives on everything. My dad is Orthodox Christian. My mom is Hindu, right? So that made me really interested in a lot of different things. And then it built from there, basically. So you just get exposed very early, at an early age, to a lot of different things. And you're like, okay, cool. But no, it's not like in South America, for example, where they throw their kid into everything, like horse riding and like kid is doing everything, like three hobbies a day, 3 different hobbies a day kind of deal. Like,
where are they going to get the time? I mean...
No, the parents, they don't care. That kid, it's school and then hobbies, basically. That kid is not getting anything. I mean, that's what I've noticed with the South Americans that I've met, at least, specifically from Colombia. Also, what's the saying? You are the sum of your 5 closest friends. I mean, your environment is really important. So yes, my parents were there, but then also growing up in a country like Canada, which I would say super diverse, especially in comparison to Europe, to be very frank. Yeah. You have so many, same like North America in general, is just this crazy amalgamation of people. So you can meet people so easily that are so interesting, so diverse, and have different perspectives on things. And as long as you're willing to interact with it and, not get mad, obviously. Yeah, you can learn so much as long as you have an open mind. So North America is really good for that, actually. I think there's a lot of growth to be had because of the different sets of people that are here.
So is that what, what's the word I'm looking for? Is that what informed your choice, or the way you've actually navigated through cybersecurity and solution design and your career as well. Talk to us a bit about your career and how it started, the various places you've been, if you had liberty to say, that is, if you had liberty to say, and where you are now, and how has that background fed into that? I know I know you know the background story. The audience doesn't.
Okay, we'll start from the beginning. So I started in 2019 as a software developer in blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
And what was really funny about that was that they couldn't afford to pay me at the time. So they paid me in Bitcoin. This is 2019, keep in mind. So Bitcoin was about, I want to say $16,000 at the time, maybe 17. Actually, it went up quite a bit. Anyway, so they paid me in Bitcoin in the beginning. Then I got into my next company. So around COVID, they weren't self-sufficient. We're not doing too well. So my CTO actually helped me get my next job. A few companies later, so I was contracting for about 3 years in software development. I did really well. Contracted for companies like HP, Disney, worked with Microsoft. And then I shifted to the RCMP, and that was really interesting. I stayed about a year with them. I did my penance, let's say, because I found it really interesting.
Penance.
They were great people. They were great. System that I didn't understand. The system was like, what is this? It felt like there was a lot of paperwork in the way of a lot of things. But having said that, the people were amazing. I mean, what's the difference between people that work at Microsoft and the RCMP? There really isn't much of a difference. The reality is that they're both really smart people. It's just the incentives are different. That's it. And a lot of the people at the RCMP that I met, at least the developers, are like, oh, I would love to work at Microsoft. And then same, it was funny because when I was at Microsoft, they're like, oh, I'd love to work for the RCMP. So it's really funny how you see that as well. So yeah, that's the diverse background. Because I worked for Disney, which is this absolutely massive behemoth when it comes to entertainment, HP, which is a tech behemoth, Microsoft, which is literally one of I think it's the second largest company in the world right now. I don't know. They're always switching in between. And then, so then the RCMP was a really good experience. Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
And the next thing that happened was, I did contracting for some other companies, like some startups. Then I think that's when I met you, because I was like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. And then I met Farshad randomly. Farshad is the CEO of my company. And that's how I started application security, which I didn't realize I was already doing at the RCMP, basically. Following OAuth standards, implementing a lot of code security controls and stuff like that. We were a Microsoft shop, so stuff like that, I understood A to Z, everything security-wise. So it was actually quite, we got along really, really well. And then obviously Farshad he's one of those people that has a really high bar, right? He's like, yo, you have to be an software engineer, understand design systems. His first question to me was like, oh, what languages did you program in? That was his first question to me. And I was like, oh, wow, we're already interviewing? I thought we were supposed to have fun here. But yeah, we had a great time. So that's kind of where I'm at now. So as you can tell, I mean, it's I named some of the largest companies on the planet. So I obviously worked for also a lot of other mid-sized and also smaller companies. So I think at this point, keep in mind I'm young. I have worked for maybe 13, 14 organizations, which might be a huge red flag, by the way. But I don't know. It just happened. I was contracting for maybe 12 or 13, 12 of them. I think I only had 2 full-time roles, right? My first one, and then also this one with Farshad. And my first one, I stayed 2 years, actually. Which 2 years, I mean, that's half my life, right? So, yeah, there we go.
Large enterprises, public sector, startups. What do you find common and what do you find radically different, especially with a cybersecurity lens, coming from the point of how do they approach cybersecurity? And if you had to choose one, would you prefer to be in a large enterprise or public sector, or would it be startup? The culture is very different in each of those, right? So that's a hard choice, right?
Pros and cons. Here's the thing. Okay, here's the lowdown. Large enterprises, they're great because they have processes and they treat everybody fairly equally, depending on how much power, I guess, your boss has to either A, make your life miserable or raise your career ladder. Plus, no matter any of these, the common thing is that your manager, your direct manager, the one who's managing you, your reviews, whatever, is very important. You need to get along with them and also your team. Once again, we're talking about environment. This feels to be a recurring theme here. Who you are 8 hours a day of your life, every single day is really important. So that doesn't change, doesn't matter the size of the company. And then I feel like large enterprises can be good because if you want, for example, a visa or something, they're great. If you need, they all speak English, right? English is a common language. So let's say you go abroad for whatever reason to Vietnam.
Yeah.
Vietnam is now. You speak English there. They all speak English, right? So there are many pros to an enterprise. The cons can be they're very dogmatic in that sense. They're very slow to innovate. Their source of innovation is literally purchasing companies that are innovating, aka startups, right? That is their innovation. So like that is something also to consider. And maybe people like it. I mean, on one hand, some of them have great training. Yeah. So it just depends on what you want. Public sector is a bit unique in the sense that they have salary caps, but they do also have those sort of career tracks. But it's mostly based off of tenure is the problem. So there are two problems with public sector. Yes, it's great work-life balance. The benefits are okay. I mean, I have better benefits in the private sector, in my opinion, except the pension. But public sector, you have your learning track, but then you have a salary cap. So usually it's about 15 to 30% less than the market rate. And then you have tenure. It's all based off of tenure. So if you're 35 years in the industry, you could know nothing about technology, but you could be running the tech department, for example. You're approving all the budgets for that. That, I think, is the singular largest weakness of the public sector, is the fact that they're so far removed. Like, no offense to anybody at RCMP if they're watching this, but it was the only place I've ever worked at currently in my entire life, out of 14 organizations, that the BAs had no idea about technology. And I was like, oh, wow, these guys are the ones creating the requirements, keep in mind. So that's public sector. Not to say all of them are, that doesn't mean you're a bad BA if you don't understand the tech, but it was very unique to me in terms of how I communicated, because I couldn't communicate technically with them, basically. So yeah, so that's large enterprises, I think, out of the way. That's public sector. Now we'll start with startups, actually, at the other extreme. Startups can be amazing. They can also be incredibly heart-wrenching because you're not self-sufficient. You don't know what's going on. You don't know if you're going to get laid off. We have a bunch of Vancouver-based startups, right? You get pulled into a board of director meeting and they're like, hello, we can't afford. Oh yeah, lots. I mean, some paid great money. I mean, I have a colleague who was working with Armist in 2020 and he was making 50K doing nothing. He was like, yo, I was just chilling. I was doing absolutely
nothing. Really?
He was doing absolutely nothing. He told me it was so boring. He left after 6 months because it was the most money he ever made, even to this day. And he was like, I had never been more bored in my life. So it can be a caveat, but generally startups are very fast paced. You can learn a lot very quickly. If you're a junior, for example, they need you to do everything. So you can just say, hey, listen, I want to start doing, like, let's say maybe after 6-7 months, you're like, hey, I want to start like being a part of the interview process. I want to learn how to do that. I want to manage somebody. You can very quickly get into a management role, for example, at a startup because they need people. And you have the experience with the software and the team and how to onboard them, right? You have that already. A CEO or whatever, or whoever the VP or the CTO, they're not going to have the time, right? So startups can be great, but once again, you're not self-sufficient. You don't know where the salary is going to go. You don't know what's going to happen, right? So it could be great, but might also not be. And then you have the mid-market. Mid-market is great because they're startups who are self-sufficient, in my opinion. They're just amazing. Like Clio, when it made it, Hootsuite, all of these companies are great because they are just killing it in terms of innovation and technology, but they're not huge, right? They're not bloated. They're not any of these things. They're pretty good. They're pretty efficient. You're still small enough to know people. And of course, everything I'm saying has exceptions. Google, for example, every department is only a max of 150 people. And that is according to Dunbar's law. So Dunbar's law is you can only remember 150 people at a time, right?
Anything
like in terms of like a day-to-day basis.
Yep.
Yeah, it's hard. It's difficult. So that's why they follow Dunbar's law. No department is bigger than that, for example. So there's a lot of things that Google does that's very unique, for example, that other places might not do. Microsoft, what I liked is that they were not meeting heavy. That was really nice. I mean, I worked for another consulting firm, and I had like 37 meetings a week. I was like, okay, when am I going to be able to do work?
Exactly.
But Microsoft
spend the time talking and yapping about instead of actually getting the work done.
But then with Microsoft, what was so fantastic? Oh yeah, never. What was great about Microsoft though was that like I had 2 meetings a week that were stand up. They were maybe 15 to 30 minutes. We were dealing with 4 projects, and I only had stand up twice a week. I mean, it was big. The entire conglomeration of projects was probably, I don't know, like I want to say 50 mil, but I don't remember exactly top of my head. I have it in my notes, to see, oh, I'm such a good boy. I made this much money on the projects, right? But yeah, it was a lot of money. And I was the one training the software devs, right? Like I had 2 juniors underneath me. So there's pros and cons everywhere. So even though I said startups, you could be a manager, I was at Microsoft, I had 0 tenure, and they were like, hey, listen, we need someone to train these people. It's going to be you. And I was like, fantastic. So there are always exceptions. It's always going to be unique. Always make sure the best situation you want to be in and it's never going to happen in the first 5 years of your career probably, is to be your own boss, right? You get to set, even if you're working for an enterprise, you are the one they go to for advice and to lean on you, and you are the one that is your it kind of deal. So make yourself valuable for sure, or at least the perception of value, right? But that is the optimal situation. You can get that in anywhere, public sector or whatever. You just need to work on it. Yeah. Not many people know this is the thing, right?
True. And we will come back to that. We will come back to that, leadership and, mentoring and growth. We'll come back to that. But I'm going to have to get into this AI.
Okay.
What's your take on it? Because again, everything today is all AI. Everybody builds a tool, they slap on a logo on it that says AI. So everybody today, if you're not talking about AI or saying we're doing this with AI, no one is really listening to you. So again, and one of the things, I know we've spoken about this a few times, is, yes, AI is good, but when is it a blessing? When is it Skynet? What are the risks that people are not thinking about when it comes to AI? And how is, particularly, thinking about what you do in particular, how is AI transforming that role? How is AI actually helping or not in the things you do on a day-to-day basis?
Right. Okay. I think first things first, to make it very clear, most of the gains, I was talking about value just 1 minute before this. Most of the gains in life that you will make come from suffering in the short term so that you can get, let's say, paid out in the long term.
Yes, absolutely.
At the end of the day, yes, AI is great. If you can't enjoy coffee with a friend, you are not going to enjoy a yacht, for example, right? So first things first, start small. Start small. Like, don't start being one of those people that's like, oh, I'm going to become the CTO of this and this, and then vibe code everything. And then, oh, why doesn't it work anymore? And then you get lost in the sauce. Having said that, I think AI is really useful, but like any other muscle ever, you need to be actively using it, not just like, hey, boom, polish this, and then go from there. Try and learn what AI is doing that you're not, and then use only the good parts, I think is a big one. I think AI is great for learning in general, if you can use it properly and have the right prompts for it, and know you need to be actively learning is the problem, not just do this and do that. You're going to be useless. You know what I mean? Why would I hire you? I can just hire an AI at that point, right? So I would say start small. That's a big one. And I think also people are so afraid of mistakes that they kind of lean too much on AI. I mean, Naval has this amazing quote, right? Like, don't take life too serious. You're just a monkey with a plan. It's true. Like, just relax. Like, you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. Just take the opportunity. And I think especially in this day and age with, what is it, my generation, Gen Z or whatever, we appreciate authenticity, right? Yeah. Big thing. So I know AI feels like a bit of a roadblock. Try and use it as an enabler, but it's really hard to do if you're not committed. Like, if you don't know what you don't know. So for example, with AI, they do the memory thing, right? So maybe if you're a student, you can ask it, like, what are some things that I should work on? What are some things that I can improve? What are some things that I'm really good at and that I should double down on? What would you recommend as a career path, right? You use the ChatGPT memory thing and see what answers it gives you. Just see, like, this is really interesting or not. Now, on a company thing, I mean, I think Microsoft Copilot, I don't know. I only use it for like, hey, how do I add my calendar to X, Y, and Z? Like, that's the only thing I use it for, because I literally can't find it on Google. On the Microsoft documentation, I can't find it, right? So Copilot, that's it. Copilot is for helping with Windows stuff. I'm really liking Gemini recently. I think Gemini, and what's the other one? I think Claude is also really good if you're... Yeah, Claude is amazing.
Pretty good.
ChatGPT is good as a general. I think ChatGPT, if you're using it for like coding, I think the two main ones I'm using right now are ChatGPT and Claude. I think they're good for different reasons. I usually generate test cases with GPT. Claude I'll use to debug. Actually, I'll use both to debug. AI has gotten really good at that. I think writing code, it's not so great unless you're very specific and very like it's small bits of code. But test cases and debugging, I think it's like, yeah, it's really good. Yeah, use it to your advantage for sure. Because if you're not using it, other people are, and you're gonna get screwed. And why would the other person, right? Like, why not you, right? That's the thing. At the end of the day, why not you? Why don't you get that promotion? Like, why not you? Like, we always have this thing where it's like, oh, why don't they recognize how amazing I am and whatever? No, that's your job. You are the one who has to go out. That means you need to use AI. Go for it. Don't rely on it, right? Use it as an enabler to become the best version that you can possibly be. It's a tool at the end of the day, right? We don't want it to become like Skynet. Having said that, is the doomsday AI theory real? Yes, it absolutely is. I mean, I was in software engineering, and one of the courses was machine learning. This is way back, back when dinosaurs roamed the earth, because I'm so old, right? But yeah, so this ML course, they were even saying like doomsday AI is a very real thing, right?
True.
So I don't know. I think at the end of the day, I think right now we have not even hit even 30% of the peak. Like we're still going up on the AI usage and the AI, like what we can do with AI. But I think this current set of AI, generative AI, I think we're going to be here for quite a while. I mean, I could be wrong. Tomorrow, Sam Altman could invent AGI, and then that's it. He lays off,
Half his team, or
90,
three-quarters of his
yeah,
team.
99%. What do you need? You need Sam Altman and AGI. What do you need at that point? You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like you never know. I can't predict the future. I don't have a crystal ball. But as of right now, everything stays the same, right? Marcus Aurelius, from Marcus Aurelius's time, the meditations and all that, to now, nothing has changed. We are still the same human beings. We have our own insecurities, our own flaws. So what you can do is you can focus on yourself and what you can use AI for and how you can be the best. That's what you focus on. Don't think about, oh, AI is stealing my jobs. Oh, there's a high unemployment rate. Yes, there's a lot of nasty things happening right now. But you can still make it. Trust me. We're North America, okay? Come on. We're not in Somalia. We're not in Ethiopia. We're not in Romania. You know what I mean? Like, we'll be
True. I totally agree. That's why everyone wants to come to North America. Everyone wants to immigrate to North America because the pace of innovation is huge. But I think you're totally right. Many people think, now you think you're doing good stuff and you're like, why are they seeing the good work I'm doing? Why am I not getting promoted? It's not your manager's job to just say, hey, here's a promotion. Here, you can have it. No, you've got to do the work and actually show it and say, hey, I've done this. I should be promoted. Because if you don't ask for it, you're not going to get it. And that's a fact. And that's a fact. You've got to actually ask for it. And that brings me back to what we were talking about earlier. Besides Vancouver 2025, you had this very fantastic conversation that we had. You gave this talk that talked about leaders in junior teams. I think the title was From Junior to Leader, Cultivating Growth in Teams. And I found that actually very, very profound. It was something that I was able to actually relate to. So give us a bit of a crash course on if I wanted to grow into a leadership role from a junior position, what do I need to do? What's most important? What's your advice?
Oh, jeez. My advice is for tech in general, I feel. But also, actually, it does extend to other fields, I guess. One thing I noticed is that in the beginning, now, obviously, I evolve. I don't remember exactly what I talked about in that talk. I mean, there's a lot to talk about leadership in general. There are different types of leaders. There are different types of, so many different, you can be there's a saying like, you can have anything, but you can't have everything. And that's the problem. Yeah. And I'm one of those people that wants it all. I am very much one of those people. But what I will say is that, you can be anything. You absolutely can be, but you need to work towards it. Or you can have anything. In fact, Nassim Taleb has this crazy quote, right? It's something like, there are two types of people: people who know how to make money, or who don't know how to make money, and people who don't know when to stop making money, right? So you can definitely see that in especially America, especially in the States, but even here to some extent, people don't know how to like grow and make money or whatever, and then there are people who they can't stop, right? So they ruin their entire life basically in the pursuit of it. So yeah, I think first things first few years of your career, just say yes to everything as much as you can, as long as it's within reason. Don't worry about it. Even if you don't make money, even if whatever, knowledge it'll always come back and help you. So that's number one. I think that's a big one that helped me a lot, was just putting the ego aside and just saying, hey, because once again, my first job, I was not paid. I had a great team, so that was nice. But I was like, because when you're young, you want money the most because you want to travel, you want to do stuff with it, but you're broke, right? But yeah, be patient. Your time will come.
Yeah,
that's a big one. What's the next thing? Try and get a mentor that really cares. There are lots of people that want to help you, so try and get a mentor. And when you are in a position to mentor somebody, take that opportunity, because you will realize so much about yourself being mentored, but also mentoring others. So that's another one. Don't underestimate that value, because you will learn a lot about it. Yes. And you'll be surprised what questions a junior can ask, and you're like, oh, wow. And a mentor is such a relaxed, laissez-faire, right? It's not like a manager. Let's say you're mentoring like a junior on your team, and they're like sweating every single time they're talking to you, and they're like, oh, yeah. Like when it's a mentor-mentee relationship, the guy, your junior's like, hey, how do I do this? How do I do X, Y, and Z? And you're like, Yes. Good. Ask me questions. And you'll like that. You'll like that they're asking questions that you can share your knowledge. Guess what? Your mentor wants the same thing. So use a mentor. Right? Your mentor has a mentor. So don't think that everybody's just hit the ceiling or whatever, right? Like, what's his name? Satya Nadella as well, right? He still takes advice from people like Gates and whatnot, right? So don't think that there's ever going to be an end to that on the learning curve. So I think that's one. Growth mindset is the second portion of it. I mean, they kind of go hand in hand, right? Saying yes to everything, but also the growth mindset is a big one. You want to learn as much as you can. Don't be dogmatic. Try and move past things fairly quickly. There's a lot of injustice in the working world, in the tech world, whether it's tech or otherwise. There are so many injustices. Yeah, I mean, I have stories of myself. Femi, you probably have stories. There is racism, there's discrimination, there's this, there's that. None of this matters, right? There are going to be governments, right? You may not agree with the government. There might be this, there might be that. At the end of the day, nobody's going to have more control of your life than you, especially in North America, right? So people might be partisan. They might have their own like opinions or whatever. Relax. You'll be fine. Once again, right? We're all monkeys with a plan. So don't worry about it, right? If anything, just forgive them and move on. Like I've been rejected for position.
Yeah.
He's too brown or whatever, right? There are things that happen, right? So just enjoy it and move on. Like that, you didn't want to work for that company anyways, if that's their thought process, right? And you'll find another company. If someone doesn't like you, someone else will. Okay, that's just how it is. Period. Now, don't be a piece of trash human being. Okay, growth mindset though, you'll be fine. But don't be that type of person that takes advantage of people.
I agree. Completely agree.
Yeah. So I think that's some things. Is there anything specific about the talk that really stood out to you? Or
there was a couple of things. I remember at different times in your career, you've got to be different things. And I think you alluded to that already. It's easy to say yes to, say yes to everything. But I also think it's important to realize that sometimes you just have to be, what's the word I'm looking for? You've got to be malleable, if I could put it that way. Sometimes you're going to be, you're going to be a solution architect. Sometimes you're going to be a designer. Sometimes you're going to be the errand boy going to take sheets out of the printer. Again, but you've got to be malleable to learn when to shape shift, if I could put it that way. Because again, that experience is what's going to make you a lot better down the road. Be very flexible, be very malleable. Because once it's set, it's harder to actually put something into that. I think that has always stayed with me throughout my career in saying, you know what? Every opportunity, every moment is a learning opportunity. You never know what you're going to learn out of that experience. So,
any situation. I remember what I said. Any experience is good experience, basically, is what I was saying. Like, I worked for some seriously toxic companies. They were absolutely insane. People yelling at each other, people having affairs, people this, people that. And I learned a lot. It was the absolute most toxic. I almost got fired multiple times, but it was a great experience. I learned a lot from that. I learned a lot from the base side of humanity. What makes a good manager? What makes a bad manager?
Exactly.
You learn. And then the next time you're a savant, you'll be like, oh, I recognize bullshit. And then you get to wiggle your way through it.
Even if it's, I always say that even if it's a nasty experience, you can learn from it because the next time you see it, even before it happens, this has happened before. It's like deja vu. I'm not going to do this time because again, you've learned. But if you don't learn from that experience, it's just going to happen all over again. And then you get angry and sad and, it starts to fester, and festering is not good. We don't want anything to fester. So completely agree. Okay. Let's do some fun stuff. Your LinkedIn profile says you're a professional nobody. What exactly does that mean? What is a professional nobody?
Okay, I just thought, so first of all, I just thought it was funny to put, because everybody on LinkedIn is just like, it's like dead internet space theory. Everyone's trying to pretend, they're kind of something that they're not. Everybody, I shouldn't say that, but a lot of people are something that they're not, basically. Like, there's a lot of AI generated posts and a lot of like, so I was like, okay, I just want to be as authentic as possible. Like, even at the bottom of my LinkedIn about, it's like, I like hiking. I'm an absolutely trash volleyball player. And I believe in meditating. You know what I mean? Like, it's super chill, super chill. Like, I don't want to pretend. Once again, no pretending that we're something that we're not. And yeah, and truth be told, I'm very outspoken, but I actually do enjoy being near the back and being quiet. The thing is, one thing I've mastered. You might not have seen this, Tammy, but one thing that's really nice is to be both. People always say introvert, extrovert, this, that. We're social creatures, right? Introverts just they get they achieve that, let's say, social goodness, we'll say that dopamine hit from being social just quicker than extroverts do, right? And so extroverts are able to, let's say, be more social, yeah, sure, but it's just that they're able to maintain it longer. But for me, I realized like these are all just terms and labels. At the end of the day, you fashion yourself. So I like both.
Absolutely.
Right? I can be quiet in the back, and then I can also be in the front yapping my, you know, well, I'm yapping right now, but so you're getting firsthand experience. Yeah. So just in general, I think there's a lot that, yeah, you want to become an all-round human. In that sense, you want to be comfortable. You want to be comfortable with every situation, and that does come with a lot of experience and gaining perspective and whatnot. Wow, there's a lot of recurring themes here for sure. We're all bringing it around full circle. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like for a long time, for example, I would just do the work and that's it. I did not care if anybody recognized it. Nobody checked. Like I had the lowest PR review rate. Like everyone was approving my PRs, for example. I was super proud of that fact. I was like, yo, I'm killing it here, right? Because that was one of my performance metrics. And I never cared. I never talked to clients at that time. I was never like, now that was pretty bad for my career in some ways. Like you want to get client exposure,
Yeah,
but
true.
I don't know. There's also something really nice about just being able to do the job to a really, really, really amazing level. And then you go home and you're happy and that's it. So that was a big one for me for a long time. Now that's not the case. Absolutely not. With Farshad, I'm the biggest yapper of all time. But maybe one day we'll go back to that. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows, right? Another thing I found on your profile, and this, I think we both share this is in common, is a love for cars. And I was going to go there. What kind of cars do you like?
Okay.
North American, Japanese, or European? Or Italian, even among Europeans, Italian, German, French?
Oh man, I think let's not say anything negative. But I think for myself, actually, you know what's funny? I've actually liked a lot of so my three favorite car manufacturers actually in the last, let's say, whatever, however many years, 10 years that I've been driving. Because I got my license at like, I don't know, 14. In Alberta, that is. Ford, which is American, Toyota, Japanese, and then Volkswagen, which is German. Those have been my three favorite vehicles for different reasons. Volkswagen, I think the Golf is an amazing car. Toyotas just make amazing cars usually, just in general. I mean,
They never
they're the most
die.
boring cars.
They don't need
get you from
maintenance
point A to
much
point B
by
and
much, but
destroy
they never die.
potholes. They'll destroy everything. You'll be invincible. And then what is the other? And then Ford's actually, I found them to be they're fun. You know, you like my problem, not problem, but the thing about German cars is that you need to take care of them. There's no,
Yes.
if it says, hey, 5,000 kilometers, you do service. You do service at 5,000 kilometers, not 5,001, okay? Because then your oil pan is going to fill and you're going to blow a gasket and half the tires are going to come out and, it's just going to be like, no, take care of it.
Absolutely.
Whereas a Toyota, like
Absolutely.
Ford, I remember I know Fords, man, doesn't matter. Like, I know people who did, like Mustangs, for example. I know someone who hasn't changed their oil in 2 years. And I'm like, oh my God,
What?
this person drives every single day.
On a Mustang?
But whatever, it drives. I mean, they're super. Toyota, same thing. I don't know. I guess Toyota just knew that North Americans are just not going to take care of the vehicle. So they just made it as bulletproof as possible, and that's it. They just moved on. And they're great cars, right? Different, what is it? Different strokes for different folks or whatever. So it just depends on what you want. I mean, BMWs are great. I mean, there's a lot of great cars. It just depends on who's doing well. Just realize that right now buying American, besides Ford, is probably a bad idea because of the reliability ratings. Also, most of them are owned by Europeans, like Chrysler's owned by a French company, Peugeot or whatever they're called. So French cars are very nice looking, but they are also not doing too great. Italy has went down for. Everyone drives Fiat 500 though in Italy. They're a great car in Italy, but not so good in North America.
True.
Yeah, it just depends. I mean, there's also Tesla. Teslas though, for me, I found them very sterile.
Washing machine
That's my
style.
problem. Kind of.
They're like an appliance, very expensive appliance.
Well, I mean, it was funny because I had a colleague and her favorite part about the Tesla was the fact there was this big iPad screen, basically, which you do everything in, and you could do karaoke with it. So her kids would be in the back, like yelling and screaming ABBA or whatever, and so she can enjoy her driving. And I'm like, that's what you enjoy about the Tesla? Like, there's nothing else. The environment just goes out the door. But I don't know. I think, like, for example, like right now, I think is a tough time because cars have also gotten really expensive. Somebody is doing some tariffs, which isn't helping. Yeah, I don't know. I think right now it's a tough time to buy cars. You can't go wrong with the Golf as usual. You can't go wrong with most of Toyotas. They have this new platform though, which has a lot of troubles, right? They're having a lot of I forgot.
The
I
twin
think the
turbo
Forerunner,
V6.
the
That's
Tacoma, and
that's in the Tundra. It's in the Tacoma. The twin turbo V6. It's also in the GX. It's in the Forerunner. It's a terrible engine. Yes. Well, it's not terrible.
It's not doing.
It's not terrible, but it's not great. It's not
Toyota
totally great.
has a lot of issues for Toyota.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, but the thing is, Toyota is that they're like, okay, we're gonna work on this until it gets really good, and then we're not gonna change it for 10 years, right? Because the Forerunner was literally a 15-year-old car. I think they changed it right last year. It was 15-year-old car. It was still a 5-speed. It was 5 speeds for 15 years. They didn't change it since 2000.
V6 5-speed or 6-speed, I think. My dad had one of those, and we drove it into the ground. Literally drove it until it fell apart.
But I was like, this is a 15-year-old car. It's just nobody sat in it. When I was looking at the 2023 model or whatever, I was like, wow. But they're great cars. You know what I mean? Like, they'll take you anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think right now the car market is very like
it's expensive.
There's a lot of EPA emissions, a lot of
it's
expensive. There's a lot of pressure.
It's for those of us who are enthusiasts. All the emissions cut, because again, it's a shame. But like, okay, for example, I know Lexus is phasing out certain cars. I'm a huge Lexus fan. Certain engine types. So the V8 is gone. You can only buy a V8 in 2 Lexus cars today. The LS is gone. In fact, the LS for a long time didn't have a V8. It had a twin turbo V, or under the hybrid. Now the V8 is gone. The only V8 you can get in Lexus today are the 26 LC 500, which is either a V8 or a V6 hybrid, or you can buy the IS 500, which is the V8 performance option. Which is, if money was no object, of course it is, I would buy the LC 500 in a heartbeat. I think that is one of the most beautiful cars ever made. Bar the LFA. Bar the LFA. I think the LC 500 is just beautiful. It looks great. It's my wallpaper on my computer. Every time I see one, every time I go to my dealership and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm coming back to buy this used one here, so just keep it for me. But I think it's a great car. But again, you're totally right. Cars are too expensive right now, and everything's just crazy. So, what happens if you could buy cars for 20,000 brand new? You can't get a 20,000 car anymore brand new today. Even the Camry start at 28,000 right now. So I don't know. It's crazy. Anyway, that's been a very interesting conversation.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with this. That's the conclusion of this conversation, huh? Basically.
Well,
you cannot go wrong with Lexus. Like,
yes, John. Let's do a few quick fire rounds. What's the one cyber hill you would die on? No matter what anybody says, this is your position and nothing is changing it. For me, it's MFA on everything. I don't care who it is. I don't care who you are. I don't care. Even if it's your email for your spam folder, MFA on everything. I don't care.
I mean, I think, like, for example, the one I think is, like, I think passkeys. Can we just make passkeys a thing? Are you serious? Like, what is this, like?
Yeah.
What is this password nonsense? Let me, like, make passkeys a thing. I don't know. I just really like passkeys. I think that's a big one. Also, software security, like supply chains and stuff like that. I used to be a dev, and I know it. Like, okay, here's a bit of a story, huh? So when I was an engineer, I was like custom code everything. Libraries are nonsensical. They can be broken. They can be this. We don't have control over it. Then I was a team lead, and I was like, yo, screw that. Like, libraries all day, because I want to get this done. I need to meet deadlines. But then the problem is we have so many, like, NPM, right? Like, so many supply chain attacks through NPM. Yeah, so I think also having, like, some sort of, like, centralized security around it, like maybe some sort of procurement that, like, verifies. Because NPM, Microsoft doesn't verify anything on it, right? They take, like, weeks. Oh, yeah, WestJet got hacked. Okay, we'll fix it in a month from now. We're too busy with our AI profits. But, so I think, like, those are the two big ones right now. I think software, supply chain security, and passkeys is just like a convenience thing. Like, it's just so nice.
I agree.
And then software supply chain is just the biggest thing right
now.
Yeah. So I think there's there's a bunch. I have a bunch. Like, don't use QWERTY as your password. Don't use, like, there's a bunch of ones that I'm like, guys, come on. Like, you know what I mean? They have, like, the sticky notes on their computer, and I'm like, guys, like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Just use a password manager. Bitwarden is free and great and syncs on your old devices. Like, come on. Yeah, use a password manager. That's probably my third one. I mean, like, come on. So yeah, okay, 3 hills. I've given you 3. I go above and beyond. Okay, right? We say yes to everything.
Three's fine.
I killed it.
Say yes to everything is one of them as well, or also, right? Okay, and that brings us to sort of the wrap this up in a bow. As we sort of come to an end, if someone came to you and said, Norris, okay, you know what? I've heard all you've said. It's great. Give me one piece of advice and one mindset shift you think I need to do that can help me be the best version of myself. What is that going to be? In a minute or less. One piece of advice, one mindset shift. That's hard, right?
Don't subjugate your desires to make someone else happy.
Ooh, I love that.
I think that's a big one. If you want, I think that is a mindset shift that I think makes a lot of people unhappy in North America, because I think there's a lot of not necessarily people pleasing, and it's actually a subtle ego in a lot of people. But I think subjugating your desires for other people's happiness, I think, is a big mistake that people make. Now, I'm not saying go to the other extreme where you're like, what is it called, a hedonistic or whatever. But I think that is the biggest shift that people need to get into. Yeah,
100% agree.
Especially for overachievers like you and I. Huh? So yeah.
Fun fact.
That's it.
On one of my email addresses, my signature is, I've got my my name, phone number, and at the very bottom I've got this quote that says, "Never ever displease yourself to please someone else. You'll probably regret it." And it's true. Never ever displease yourself to please someone else. If I'm trying to please someone else and it doesn't please me, then I'm not going to do it. Again, not because I don't want to help, but if I'm displeasing myself, then there's no point, because I'm probably going to regret it later on, and I'm going to be like, why did I do that? And I don't want to do something and then resent the fact that I did that later on. So just don't do it. Don't be Nike. It's fine. So I'll put a link down to Norris's LinkedIn profile in the description below. I'll also put a link to his YouTube channel as well. He started putting a few videos on this, so go out, check it out. If you want to know a bit more about AI and security, go out, check it out. But it's been great talking to you today. All your insights, the honesty, a whole lot of personality as well. So thank you for coming on. That was great.
Thank you, guys. Okay, Sammy, you're the best.
And to the audience, if you did enjoy this episode, and I know you did, I did, go ahead and show some love. If you're on YouTube, don't forget, hit like, hit subscribe. Leave us a comment below, letting me know what your favorite part of the conversation was. And if you're listening on audio, follow the show on Spotify, and Apple, iHeartRadio. In fact, anywhere you get your podcast, I can promise you that we're there. So you just go search the CyberSec Migrant and you will find us there. Reviews and ratings also help a ton, so feel free to leave one today if this episode resonated with you. And until next time, I will catch you in the next episode and see you again.